Whenever you think you can or you can't, whatever you decide will be. This is one of my most favorite quotes from Henry Ford. And this is so true. And you know what? It all comes down to confidence. In today's interview, I am speaking to Claudia. She is a confidence coach and she helps businesses to build confidence, because without confidence, your business is going to struggle. I can't wait for you to find all the golden nuggets and the knowledge bombs that she drops with us on this episode.
If you want your life to be the way you want it to be, it can. And there really are no limitations except for the ones that you put on yourself. I think we don't realize is how many wins we actually have daily. They don't have to be these huge things like you just won the lottery. It could be the fact that you had a really good hair day and you were rocking those shoes. That's a win.
Hello, everyone. Today, I have a very special guest on my show. Her name is Claudia. She is based in Idaho, and she is a self-doubt eraser coach. Now, talking out of experience, self-doubt can literally kill your business. So, I think we need more of her in the world. So, Claudia, can you please clone yourself for the world, please? She's also a confidence coach. So she basically teaches confidence and things like that. So I'm not going to go any more into this because I want Claudia to go and tell us more about us as the interview progresses. But first, hi, Claudia. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. This is fantastic.
This is very exciting. I just love your energy. You're just so full of energy. This is amazing. Can you tell people about you, who you are, and where did you grow up?
I'm me, right? I'm Claudia. I'm a confidence coach by trade. I have always just had this energy and this power within me, and this confidence that just comes out of me. And what I learned was more people didn't have this. So that was my goal, was to bring that out of other people and help them feel it, because it's in all of us. We just need to find it.
That's amazing. And I mean, even when I started, even just like speaking to you on LinkedIn, because this is where we met, by the way, and just speaking to you on LinkedIn and in Messenger, or messaging in LinkedIn, your energy just came through. Like, it's not just even seeing your face and talking to you, but just your messaging. How did you, like you say, you always had this fire, but how do you put it out there? Like, it's quite addictive, actually.
Well, thank you. I get this a lot from people. Again, it's something I didn't know other people apparently didn't have.
Yeah.
It's the fact that I allow myself to be authentic, and no matter what I'm doing, when I was working on my own brand, it's me. It's 100% me. I'm going to stand up and be me. I'm going to speak me. I'm going to look me. It's all part of it. And then you're being your authentic self. It just comes out of you. It's who you are. And I love that it's coming through in my words, because that was something at one point I was kind of concerned about, but I just started writing like I would talk. And that's exactly how it sounds. And that's how I come out of it. My vibe comes out, my energy comes out of it, because it's me. So that's my recommendation to everyone. If you're trying to get yourself out there, be you. You are great. So be you.
Now, if somebody does not have the confidence and I don't have that natural spark, what's your first step of getting it out of yourself?
I always do a little one-on-one with everybody and just kind of find out what's going on with them. And I like to find out what lights people up, because if I'm having a conversation with you and you're talking about an example of something that you don't care for, you can see your face, your body language, your tone of voice. And then if I ask you, what do you love? What is something that's fun for you? What's a great memory? What do you do that lights you up? And they start talking about it, and it changes. It starts coming out of them. And I'm like, do you see that? This is what I'm talking about. See, you do have it. It's there. So now we just need to figure out how to harness it so that we can keep it with you at all times.
That's beautiful. Now, how do you harness that? Do you have a method of doing that?
I do. I have quite a few different methods. I believe everybody is an individual. So certain coaching packages are kind of an outline. They're not necessarily, this is exactly what we're going to do based on what's going on with you, because we can uncover a lot of things. But I have a combination of some steps just to dig in with different questions about who you are, what your purpose is, what you love, what you don't love. And then I go into different worksheets. And, I was working with someone the other day that started talking about doubt, and that, reaps a lot of us in different ways. We all have it. Doesn't matter who you are. And when I found out kind of where it stemmed from, it was something that had happened from a past influence, which is a lot of where our things come from. They come from when we're a kid. They come from our childhood. They come from family, friends, whatever. Those things stick within your brain, and they mess with you. And then it's something that you can always go back to, because when you get in a similar situation, you revert right back into that. So by going deep into that and uncovering that, then we're going to block it, right? We're going to figure that out. And one of the things I had this particular person do was write a woundology. I'm like, write your story of how this made you feel in this moment. This person that you loved and cared for basically trashed how you felt about yourself. And because you had such a high opinion of that person, it stuck with you. And in that moment, it crumbled your whole existence of where your confidence then came from, or your doubt, or whatever wound you had. So then you have to change it, right? You have to change the game. So you go into your story, your woundology, your trauma situation, your traumatic experience, whatever, and you write it the way that you felt it. And then you turn it around and write it as the hero. How did you learn from it?
I love that.
How did you grow from it? How do you feel now? Because the thing that most of us don't realize is these are gifts that we don't know. Yes, they happened and they were horrible at the time. But my own story, when I look back and go, oh my gosh, if I hadn't had this terrible experience, would I be here now helping other people overcome these things? So write it as the hero. You're all the hero of your own story. You're the hero of your life. So start participating in it. And instead of seeing yourself as this happened to me and I'm wounded and I can never get out of it, you just need to find a way. And that's a great start.
I love that, because I actually had some issues with self-worth a few years ago. And I think self-worth and confidence really is, hand on hand with each other, because if you struggle with self-worth, then you're not going to get, and it was like a child, it's sorted now, but it was a big problem for me. And I was in this brick, like I had this massive brick wall in front of me building my business, because I had this, and I couldn't identify it. Do you sometimes, like when you start coaching people, do they realize that they have these problems? Obviously they do know at some degree, because they come to you, right, to help them. But do you feel like sometimes people don't really understand that they're having this thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of times when we're in a situation, we have no idea how we got there.
That's true.
We just know we're overcome with something. It's a trigger. It's something that is a feeling that's in us that's like self-worth or self-doubt, or, just a situation of, I don't think I can do this. Well, you can. You just need to allow yourself to do it. And you need to overcome the fact that you're stuck in this spot. So I do help a lot of people get rid of being stuck. And I've been stuck myself. I've been in a situation where I knew I wasn't growing. And it was like, is this it? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing with myself right now? I mean, I love what I'm doing. It's great, but I'm kind of bored. And where do I go from here? If I've topped out in all the goals I've set for myself, what's next? Well, there has to be more than this. And that's kind of when you go, you know what, let's figure it out. And digging deep into your own self is the best advice I can give to anyone. It's hard. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to face some things that you didn't want to look at, maybe that you've been avoiding. But you have to figure out what role you're playing in your own life. And if it's not the role you want to play, you can change it. So get in there and do it, but you have to do the work. The work has to happen. You can't just do all the studying in the world and take all these classes and do all these, reading and workshops and things. If you're not putting it into action, you have to take care of it. You have to take control. So that's another thing I help people with. So yes.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I love that you do that, because it is so needed in this world, because it all starts with yourself. If you don't know your true identity and who you are as a person, and building out, like you would say, ignite the fire, then nothing else is going to go right for you. And I learned that the hard way. I really did. So you were saying that, uncovering things within yourself. Do you have like a action, I won't say an action plan, but you have like a bit of a step process that if somebody is stuck, or even if yourself, when you were stuck, how did you get yourself out of being stuck?
Well, first of all, you have to want to get out of being stuck. If you're stuck and you just decide to be there, I mean, that's your choice, but it's a choice to become unstuck, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing, is you have to go, okay, I don't want to be here. I believe I'm meant for something more. There's something more I want to do. There's something different I want to be. And then you need to find the steps to go for that. And it starts with a little bit of inward looking. You have to go, okay, where are my strengths? I don't like to use the word weaknesses. I like to use the word not quite there yet, because I feel like weaknesses is another doubt. If you think you have weaknesses, it's going to be within you even more. But if you have your not quite there yet steps, what are you going to do to get there is the question. And sometimes you need some help with that. And part of the process I really recommend is having an accountability partner or someone in your world that you can throw these things to that's going to support you. You just need to tell them, hey, I'm in the process of reinventing myself. I need some support. It doesn't necessarily mean I need your advice, because I don't want you to tell me not to do what I'm going to do, but I want you to just be there for me if I need it. And that's a huge step, is having support and allowing support for yourself. 2 is rest. It's a long journey sometimes, and it is exhausting especially when you start really uncovering some things about yourself that you didn't really want to face. And that can be very emotional, which can also be very tiring. So make sure you're getting your rest. And 3, definitely live in your feelings. It is okay to live in your feelings. If you are sad, if you are happy, if you're excited, if you're angry, whatever, be in it. Go within yourself for a minute. Let yourself feel. It is okay. Yeah. They're your feelings, and you don't need to apologize for them because they're for you. So experience your feelings, just then let it go. After it's had its moment, let it go. If you're living in resentment, or you're living in blame, or you're living in, anger, those are not healthy places to be.
Exactly.
But they're part of the journey. So it's okay to feel them. You just don't want to have them overcome you. So those are kind of the places I would start. And then it kind of goes from there with what exactly it is that we're working on. If you have a person who is constantly in their head and constantly overthinking and worrying, and, then that's one process that we need to go in. If you have someone who is very good at getting things started, but has zero follow through, that's a great thing to have a coach for, because they're going to be like, did you get that done? Did you get that done? Did you get that done? So I just recommend accountability all the way, being involved in your own process. I'm a big believer in it's your life, so start participating in it. If you want your life to be the way you want it to be, it can. And there really are no limitations except for the ones that you put on yourself. So turning limitless perspective, flipping the switch whenever you say, I can't do it. Yes, you can. Yes, I can. I can do that. I can do that. And if you start believing in that, that's a process, and it happens. It turns your brain, and you can change it. I also believe in affirmations. I'm a huge believer in them. They work. Do them every day. Look yourself in the mirror, and you will start believing and becoming who you are.
Yeah, definitely. I agree on that. Like every day I celebrate wins. Even if I don't have a win to celebrate, I will go and find a win to celebrate, because it really works. Yeah. I went for a phase where I had a win jar. Now I write them down in my journal because I've got a journal. But before I had a win jar, and I would just put them in there. And every time I had a down day, I would just pull one out. And before you know it, that jar fills up very quickly. And it's a great way to celebrate yourself. Yeah, definitely.
I do that as well. The thing that I think we don't realize is how many wins we actually have daily. They don't have to be these huge things like you just won the lottery. It could be the fact that you had a really good hair day and you were rocking those shoes. That's a win. It could be that, there wasn't anybody in the drive-thru when you went to get your coffee. That's a win. Like I'm all green lights on the way to work. That's a win. I mean, these are things that you need to go, you know what? It could be worse. There's a lot of people out there that have it worse than we do. So celebrate yourself, celebrate your accomplishments. They don't have to be you climbing Mount Everest. You did something great today. You got up and you breathed and you smiled at somebody. That counts.
Yeah, I love that. And even with my children, we do thank you prayers every night. And I let them each have 3 things that they're grateful for the day. And it's amazing what comes out of kids, because I've got a 4 and a 7-year-old, and they would be grateful for the fact that they have a bed and that there was sunny day and little things like that. And it's amazing what comes out of a child's mind. And as adults, I think we forget that. We focus on the wrong things instead of the little things in life that actually really makes you happy, right?
You are 100% right. You can definitely see and learn a lot from kids, just the things that come out of their mouths. I personally don't have kids, but I'm around a lot of kids. I have a lot of nieces and nephews. Yeah. And just the stuff that comes out of their mouths, they're happy all the time because they have chosen to be happy, because they don't realize there's nothing to be happy about. So if we all changed our attitude that way, the world would be such a bright place, and it can be. It's great. So yeah. And gratitude is huge. I'm a huge believer in gratitude. I do gratitude practices myself every morning and every night for sure. I'm a big journaler as well. And gratitude is part of the process. Yeah. Gratitude and forgiveness are 2 big things that come from a confidence journey, a self-doubt journey, any kind of journey that you're on. If you're not practicing gratitude, you're not opening yourself up to enough. right? You're never going to get what you're looking for if you are not being thankful, even just, for a sunny day, like you said. And I'm a big believer, like I said, in journaling, you've got to get some of that stuff out of your head, and it will make a big difference. And be forgiving, and not only to others, but to yourself.
Yes.
Because you may be in a spot, especially with doubt and confidence, where, well, is it too late? I'm too old. Well, I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. You know what? You need to forgive yourself for having those thoughts, because that's how you heal. If you let go of all the doubt and all the sadness and the sorrow and the misgivings and the missteps that you've taken, mistakes are lessons. They're good for you. And let yourself go, you know what? I forgive myself for not seeing these things, but I'm grateful for the lesson. You start to open up yourself to more abundance because of the fact that you're not being weighed down by all this doom and gloom that is surrounding you. So start letting it go. It's not going to do you any good, so you might as well just let it go.
I love it. I freaking love it. This is awesome, Claudia. You've been so awesome on this show so far. I really love this. And okay, so let's be real here. So gratitude and journaling, that's success habits, right? That's just habits that you implement every single day. What other success habits do you have that you practice every day that you can share with the audience?
Every day, my day, begins and ends with, I have kind of my own little system, right? So I have my affirmations that I do. I do meditate. That took me a little bit because I have kind of a busy brain. So guided meditation is not a bad thing. So start there. It's fantastic. You can find a guided meditation for literally everything. Yeah. But now I am able to control it so I can go within and do my own, which is really cool, and kind of connect with myself. Yeah. And in that as well, visualization is a big part of it. I have a vision board. I have several. I love my vision board. I've got one
hidden here.
My vision board is happening, and that stuff is real. So I'm all about the vision board. And that's also a really good way if you have a hard time visualizing, because visualizing and meditation are just a little bit different. You can actually just stare at your vision board, and that does count as visualization, and your subconscious is then getting that. And then of course I do my gratitude as well as my forgiveness. So yeah, I mean, it's the journaling, manifesting, I'm all in for all of it. It works. I mean, I have bounced along very, very fast in my journey. Once I dug deep, the digging of the deep happened. It's been about a year and a half, 2 years, right? That I've really been focused on all in. And in the last, let's say 6 to 8 months is when stuff started booming. It was just like coming out of the woodwork. And I was like, holy cow, this is real. All my stuff is happening. It's fantastic. I will never not do any of those things. They are a part of me. They're a part of who I am, and they work. So I'm a big believer.
Yeah. I had to giggle when you talk about meditation, because that was me, because I started meditating about 3 years ago. And I was like, who does this? Who just sits there and do nothing? For like 10 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour. I'm like, who does that? Like, and once you get into that practice of doing it, and like I struggled, I probably took easily like 6 months before I could really be, like I said, without having the guided meditation, because I'm like you, my brain is constantly doing this. And I'm even now sitting with you, I'm like fidgeting under the table with my hands. I'm just a very fidgety person. And if I don't, like I need to have something to focus on. So I completely agree with you. How long did it take you to get into your meditation where you don't actually need a guide anymore?
Actually not that long once I actually started making it a priority, because it was one of those things where I was always like, I'll get to it. I'm going to meditate. And then I journaled it every morning. I'm going to meditate. Meditating is part of my practice. And then I'd be like, I get too busy, right? And then I'm like, oh, well, I'll do it before bed. Yeah. No, that's not really going to happen. So I had to make make time for it. Yes. But once I really got into it, I probably did guided pretty solid. I was in a different program that I had 6 weeks of. I had to do 15 minutes of meditation. It was part of the program. And I was like, this is great. This is going to discipline me to do it. And 15 minutes is not a big deal. People think you got to do an hour, 2 hours meditation. No, you don't actually. 15 minutes works for me. So that's what I do. If I can do more, I will. But if I make time for 15 minutes, I can commit to that. 15 minutes of me time. And then once I started going, okay, well, one day I was looking at different ones and I'm like, I'm not really feeling any of these today. Like, I'm just not. I'm like, I'm just going to try it myself. And I, turned my lights low and I sat comfortably, and I like my crystals. So I had my crystals in my hands and I was like, I'm just going to quiet my mind for a minute. And it was the coolest thing ever. I was like, I have control over myself. Check me out. That was a huge win for me the first time I did it on my own. And now I really enjoy it. I do still dabble with the guided. I think sometimes they are helping me focus a little bit more when I've had a lot going on in my head. My brain's busy.
Yeah.
They are cool. And there's some really neat ones that you can do. I have some friends that really do the ones that are overnight. And they can play. I have not tried that yet because I'm always worried my phone's going to die. I probably could charge it, but whatever. So I really just like that time to connect with myself. I think that's really important no matter what journey you're on, what state in your life you're in. It's great to connect with that part of you. And it really helps you explore a little bit more and open your heart up. And I think that's part of it. You're quieting your mind and you're opening your heart. And when your heart's open, that's where the magic happens. So
yeah. And be open to new possibilities and new things coming into your life, right? Because it's amazing how much your mind, obviously your mind controls your body and everything else. It's like a thing, but it's amazing, like if you quiet your mind, how the positivity just comes, because you kind of like Alex Sharfin, I don't know if you know him, he's quite a successful business coach, and he's got this thing about lowering pressure and noise. And if you lower the pressure and noise, everything else just, positively lifts up. And that's the thing with meditation. It helps you to actually literally, lower the pressure and noise, which is really cool. I like that.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Anything that you can do to really tap into your own inner power and your inner strength is amazing. Yes. It's your time. So why wouldn't you invest in that?
Yeah.
One thing that I feel like I run out of time for sometimes is, the meditation, but I always make time for it in a different way. And I think part of the problem, one, people are afraid to start it because of the fact that they think they have to be silent. There are other options. And I started as well with walks. I have dogs, so I take my dog on walks and I would just quiet. I wouldn't think about anything on those walks except for maybe, what I was walking on. That would be about the only thing. And just be present in nature. And that is pretty powerful as well. So highly recommend that. It's a good way to start too.
Yeah. And even like now, because I've got the Fitbit thing. I don't know if you know Fitbit probably, but I've got the Fitbit. I've got the premium version, which I'm on, it's got the actual walking guided meditation things. I haven't actually done it, but I saw it. I was like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. But it just shows you, like, it just works hand in hand. Let's talk businessy things, because we've talked a lot about the amazing things behind a business that actually will help you to grow your business. Let's be real.
They're all part of it, right?
It's the first step. I truly believe that, because you hold yourself back, right? And that is actually the thing that boosts you to overcome that. Hashtag goals is a big thing on my podcast. And the reason I've got that, I used to coach one-on-one businesses quite a bit. And then setting goals became like our personal internal joke. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to put that up there. So every time I coach you, I'm going to just do that. And you have to tell me how far your goals are. So
I love it.
Hashtag goals. How do you set your goals?
Man, I have been a goal setter since day one. It's just a huge part of me. I always said no one could ever be hard on me except for myself. So I always have had big goals. Mm-hmm. The thing about me is I'm also extremely determined. So I accomplish them very, very quickly. And then I'm like, oh no, now what? That's part of it. So, excuse me. My main goals were to start my own business. And I actually had set that goal to start in January. That happened last month. So that was a huge thing for me that just came on so quickly. Keynote speaking has been something that is a love of mine forever. Clearly, I like to talk, so I'm very good at speaking. And I did a lot of speaking prior to a lot of events, prior to shutdowns and things. And then I got into this virtual thing and found a love for podcasting. And I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. So somebody gave me a platform where I can literally talk about anything at any time. I'm in. So yes, that became another goal, which I am still doing and I love. I would love to get into a big group conference, into a women's conference, into a coaching conference. I am going to actually be doing a branding conference come November, which is going to be really cool. And that's my first one. So
nice.
I got that one. It's all about manifesting. Keynoting was on there. So keynoting will actually happen at some point. That's what I'm working toward. Mm-hmm. There is a book that will happen. I believe there will be many at some point. The book thing was interesting because I started out writing because I didn't know about this whole podcasting thing. So I love writing. That's where my words came through. Obviously, like you said, you found me on LinkedIn that way. So a book started to form once I started realizing people were like, you kind of have a book here. I'm like, oh, book? What are you talking about? They're like, you have a book. I'm like, oh, cool. I can write a book. I'm down with that. Let's write a book. So then the book kind of paused because obviously I started doing all of these other things. So I started doing more of the podcasting, and then I do a live interactive personal development class. I call it my show, but it's class because I'm on every Tuesday night and I meet with like-minded individuals who are working on growth, and I talk with them for an hour, and it's a very cool program that we just kind of work together, and that's on xxoconnect.com. So that's awesome. So, I mean, all these things just started happening to me, right? And I'm like, this is fantastic because this is exactly where I wanted to go. So the book is still in the works. However, I haven't really spent that much time on it because I keep talking to people all the time. So I just need to start recording myself talking and then put that into words, and then I'll have a book. That's how I look at that. So I would just say, for me, my business being humongous is what I'm looking for. Me speaking more publicly on a regular basis, and the books, those are my three big ones right now. And I'm doing all of them in a smaller fashion. So it's just taking it big time mainstream. So that's where I'm at.
I love that. And it is good. Like, I've got a goal board, like this is it there, like the top one there, but it's like I have 5 goals every 90 days that I work on, you know, so it's just breaking it down into the action steps to get there. What has been your biggest challenge?
Time is my biggest challenge. Time has always been my biggest challenge. Time was something I asked for years. Yeah. For years and years and years, I was like, I need more time. I just don't have enough time. I have all these things I want to do, and I don't know how to do them. How do you balance that? And then we got shut down, and then I had all this time. So I was like, okay, careful what you ask for, by the way, because it will show up for you. So time is a factor that I've had to learn. You know, work-life balance is something that we all talk about, but time is a big thing. And it's not just our life and our work, it's also ourself. And I found for many, many years, I was giving all of my time either to work or to other people. And I wasn't making any time for myself. And that's kind of where self-care comes in. That's another thing I speak and coach about on a regular basis, making time for fun. I know that sounds weird, but if you don't know how to do it, you better schedule it, because that's the only way it's going to happen when you are super busy and 8 million things. Making time for naps. I'm a huge nap taker. I love taking a nap. Going out to a nice meal, you know, having fun with friends and family, all of those things that you need. A walk, exercise. I actually am, this is probably the thing that I am the worst about. I'm either all in or all out. I don't seem to have a happy medium with this. So that's something I am definitely
I'm the same. I can relate. Yep.
I don't get it, but I'm working on it. But what I've learned is it's all part of my calendar. And we have to change our brain to look at things differently, because we think of these things as long blocks of time. They don't have to be. If I could get up in the morning and work out for 5 minutes, just doing something small like lunges or my arms or something like that, that's 5 minutes. That's part of the process. And then do it again later. And then maybe do it again later. It doesn't have to be this hour at this moment. You know, being healthy and taking care of yourself, you have to make it work for you. And if it's a situation where you get 5 minutes or you get nothing, isn't 5 minutes better than nothing? That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. No,
I think that's a big part of it. You just have to find that balance and time. And is there ever going to be enough time? No, not for me, because I like sleep. So I'm not one of those people that only gets 4 hours a night. That is not me. I will not be this energetic if you see me on 4 hours a night. That is not a possibility. But my priorities know that I also need rest. I am a high energy person, which means I deplete a lot of energy at the same time, which means I know rest is a very big factor in my things for myself. So that's something I would recommend you do, is determine what is your thing and make sure you always have time for that.
Yeah, I love that. How do you stay focused, Claudia? Because you've got, I mean, we just established how busy you are and, you know, all the things and all your amazing goals that's coming up. But how do you actually stay focused?
I am really good at being focused. That's something I think is part of me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm extremely determined. I'm a very big list maker.
Yeah.
You know, I like to have structure. I have calendars. I'm kind of OCD about it sometimes, but I always just make sure that if it's something that's important that I need to be doing, that I know about it, right? That's one. It's in my brain. I'm paying attention to it, but I don't want to be controlled by it. So one of the best things that I can do is make it list, you know, get that on paper, and then prioritize and go, okay, what needs to be done now? Because that's another big thing, is not everything needs to be done in a day. And I needed to learn that the hard way on several occasions. You know, you just need to make sure that you can pace yourself and do it. But when I'm really into a project, I'm 100% all in. I'm not going to take it on if it's not something that is in my heart or that I don't have time for. And I had to learn that because I also have shiny object syndrome. I'm very big on, oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I've gotten myself into things many times that I had no idea what I signed up for, but I was like, that sounds like fun. I'll do it. What are we doing again? So when you commit to something wholeheartedly, you need to be focused on it because it's part of what you either said you were going to do, or it's part of your own personal goal. I'm a big believer in my word. If I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. Unless something, you know, tragically happens. I always said, if you can't find me and I'm supposed to be somewhere and I haven't shown up, you better find out where I am because something is wrong. Because I always commit 100%. I'm a big believer in my word. If I say it, it's real.
Yeah. And it's about showing up, right? I mean, so many times people just don't show up for exercise or show up for meditation. It's just all showing up, just, you know, and that's a thing like I've learned quite a number of years ago, even way before I started my business, is like just showing up for anything in life that's a stepping stone to actually achieving your daily goals and your weekly goals and things like that.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
And it's not just showing up for other people. I think we're all really good at committing to other people, but you have to show up for yourself.
Yeah.
You're the driving force.
Exactly.
So you need to be there for you just as much as you would be there for anybody else that you care about. It starts with you.
Yeah. And make appointments with yourself, because that's the thing. It's easy to block our time, but you have to literally have that appointment with yourself, because else it just doesn't happen. It really doesn't.
It won't happen if you don't. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. What is your ideal client looking like?
My ideal client is someone who definitely knows they were meant for more, but has no idea what it is or how to get there. I'm here for you.
I love that.
There's so many people in this world that know what they're doing. They're good at it. It's great. You know, maybe they make good money at it. They enjoy it, but it's not enough. It doesn't, you know, light the fire. It doesn't toot the horn and ring the bells. And I think a lot of us will just be like, it's fine. No big deal. But other people will be like, it kind of consumes them with, they know they were meant to do something else, but it just hasn't shown up yet for them to go, that's it. That's what I'm supposed to do. And that even happened for myself. It was like, I knew that there was more out there. I knew that I could do more with my gifts, but I didn't know what. And I was like, what am I doing? Because this can't be it.
Yeah.
So when you start to really feel that there's something that you're missing, that's when I'm here for you, because 100% we're going to find it, because it's the want that is the driving force that you know you want more. That's what we do. That's 100%. My ideal client.
Love it. That is, and that's really awesome. That's it. Can you clone yourself and be everywhere? Like, you know,
how many times I've been asked that in my life. It's so funny.
Is there anything
I'm
else?
here for you. So instead of cloning myself, we're just together now. That's it. Like now, you know, friend for life. That's kind of how I work. So once you know me, I'm all in. So we're together.
Love it. Love it. Is there anything else that you can add to the audience that I might not have touched on?
I think the biggest thing that I can tell you is honor yourself. Honor your good, your bad, you're crazy, you're beautiful, you're smoking crazy, fun, energetic, you're slow, sorrow, symbolic movements. Honor yourself. Every part of you is you. And once you realize that and you stand in that, this is me, your doors will open, your life will change, because you are being who you are authentically supposed to be. So that's my biggest advice to people is allow yourself to be you and stop feeling like you either have to apologize for who you are or that you are constantly being judged for who you are. If you're being judged for who you are, that's on those people. That has nothing to do with you.
Get
You
better
be
friends
yourself and let yourself shine, and it's great.
Yeah.
I'm giving you permission right now.
Yeah. And if you are judged by other people, then get other friends. Like, unfortunately, you can't choose.
Exactly. Those are your people.
Exactly. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't just get rid of family that easily because it's blood, but just ignore them. You know.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries are a cool thing. And once you start putting them in place, boundaries doesn't mean you don't have to ever speak to somebody again. Doesn't mean you don't have to like them. It just means you're not going to tolerate some of their bull, is basically what comes from that.
Yeah, no, definitely. This has been awesome. Claudia, thank you so very much. I love your energy. I love what you do. And guys, we will definitely pop the links below. So please go and check her out. She is amazing in what she does. And I think if you're in that space where you really need, confidence and you need that, ignite that fire within you, then I think Claudia is definitely your person. So yeah, we'll definitely drop the links below so you guys can go check it out.
I love that. And I do have a blog on my website too. So I do post weekly inspirational stories that will also kind of get you fired up from my own journey and help you realize you're not alone out there. So I hope
amazing.
To see you all again. You're amazing. Fired up, everybody.
Thank you.